Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be discussing Who's Afraid by the one, the only, Maria Lewis. Let's get into it. So first off, this book is a sequel to the first book called Who's Afraid, which deals with a main character called Tommy Grayson, who is a blue-haired, spunky art director, puts together expositions for artists, and she lives in Scotland, and after her mother dies, she goes to New Zealand to find her estranged father, and she finds out that she's a werewolf, and hilarity ensues after that. There is a hot guy, because of course there is, and he is really entertaining, and just it's her learning about this new world that she is now a part of. The second book follows on from where the last book left off, and straight into it. Maria is breaking tropes left and right, because normally when a hero suffers a great loss in the first book, they go through this period where they don't want to talk to anyone, they just want to be shut out. They're like, I don't want to do this anymore, I've hurt too many people, I'm going to back off so that other people, millions of people die because this thing is coming, but I don't want to do it because I already killed two of my closest friends. Tommy, while in mourning, yes, she uses this time to find out more about who she is, the side that comes with the third, the side that she doesn't really know. And I find that really productive, yet there is some mourning, and she does feel a great sense of guilt for the way that her friends were killed, but while it's not directly focused on, it is referenced, and you see that it did have an impact. It's not an emotional, I'm never going to do any of this again. It's more of a, oh, I'm doing this so to prevent other people from suffering the same fate, which is really, really refreshing. Lorcan, as a character, I love him so much. I have a theory about why he's so secretive, and I will cover it in the later part of this video, because it doesn't go into spoiler territory, so I wanted to say that his character development was consistent, the writing was consistent, the referencing was awesome. I loved all the references. Like, this series is like full of references that I get, even though I have not seen most of the movies. I know what she is referencing a lot of the time, so that was awesome. The story really took off from a really good place. We go to Berlin and we're in this club that just reminds me of that one episode of Bones where the lab was turned into the lab, which was a club, and there was like all this stuff and all the patrons and all the staff, and it had that sort of feeling that I got from that episode. But it took a way crime novel turn when there are murders, and then it's up to Tommy to help solve it because something supernatural is happening. And we find out about this evil that is just unspeakable, and the way that they get paid made me a little bit, no. That is not okay, that is not right. But then again, they're an ancient evil werewolf organisation. I mean, it comes with the territory. And I love Tommy's progression. It's not too fast, it's not too slow, it's right. And Joss was one of my favourite secondary characters in this novel. His progression, his natural ability to make light of such a heavy situation was so funny. And there was like even this one point in the story where the bad guy seems like he's about to win, and he tries to kill Joss, and Joss is like, dude, I'm dying already, you just accelerate the process. I burst out laughing at that line because at such a tension-filled moment, Joss was so like with the remarks and back at it, and his friendship with Tommy was really well done. I loved how when Tommy does eventually tell Joss that, hey, I'm this creature of the night, I am a werewolf, I am fur, that he takes it very well, considering, you know, this is the first time. He takes it like I think most people who read a lot of comic books, watch a lot of comic movies would take it. He's just like, this is so cool! And it was just really refreshing because, you know, in most stories it's like, oh my god, you're this monster, I don't want to be friends with you anymore. But Joss is like, you are now a superhero, you can do well, you're like a comic book person. And I was just like, that would be so me. That would be so me. That was just relatable and so funny. The rogues were brilliant. They each had their individual and very diverse personalities. I did love Dolly and Yu, and I loved Sajay and Clay. Zilla I found a bit mysterious, and then when we get to near the end of the book, she just gets a bunch of character development that I absolutely appreciated. And the bad guy in this book, I pegged him. Like, at first, I thought maybe I was being a bit, you know, maybe I was being too easily fooled and Maria was going to pull a wool over my eyes. But something about that character just was a bit unsettling. Like, he was a bit too nice. And I'm like, okay, this is red flag number one. So I kept an eye on that character throughout the book, and his behaviour just seemed a tad forced at times. And so I'm like, maybe he's up to something. And when it was revealed that it was him, I was like, I'm a genius. I figured it out. Yeah, go me. So yeah, that was really my initial thoughts. I really love this. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. And I love the cover as well. It keeps consistent with the first cover, and the books are basically nearly the same length, which is really good because I know sequels tend to be longer, and then the third book in the series or the 5th book tends to be like really long. But I love just the consistent size, covers. It's so refreshing to just read it in these doses that are super manageable. For me anyway. And now we get to one of my things that I want to talk about, and I will put a spoiler warning here. If you haven't read this book, please skip to a time that I'm going to put up on the screen so you can be taken to either the end of the video or another non-spoilery bit of it, because this is about Lorcan and why I think he's so secretive and why he's keeping so many secrets from Tommy. So we know that Tommy is Lorcan's first ward, and that is strange because it says that he's been around for centuries. So logically, you know, maybe he should have taken on a ward, or maybe he was too young and so he never took one on. But I reckon one of the main reasons is because what happened with him and his friend Athos dies, and Lorcan feels eternally responsible for it because obviously this guy was at the edge and he needed to either be pulled back, but instead Lorcan was just frustrated and tired and he pushed him forward. And I think the reason that's why I keep secrets is because this world that they're dealing with is very much a very dark world, and any new ward, I would presume he would want to keep her or him as far away or as away from the darker side of this world as possible, because he doesn't want it to become too much and they might kill themselves or something like that. So it's just a theory. Like, I just think that was one of the main reasons why he's so secretive, is because not only the guilt from that, but I just think that was, for me, that was super interesting to sort of look at, because it would be awesome, or it could add a layer of depth to an already onion character who just, you peel back one layer and there's like 20 other layers that you got to peel back before you find the real Lorcan. He's such a dork at times. I'm just like, you're such a dork, Lorcan. But yeah, and then we find out more about the main runners of this thing, the check and balances people, if you will, the guard that Lorcan's a part of, and we see the measures that they go to ensure peace. And while you may not disagree with those measures, I really think that it's interesting that Maria shows this darker side of the supernatural world. It's not all fun and clubs and, you know, hiding the transformation during the full moon. It's more, there is this darker side that only a few people know of. I love this book and I'm loving this series, and we get 3 more books, I believe, with Tommy, and I am so excited to see where it is heading. My guess is heading in a darker direction where Tommy is going to be facing more challenges and more emotional strides, and I just can't wait for that development. And it's a fun series. It's a really fun series. So if you would like to see more of this series that I've done with it, I will leave my reviews and my cover reactions down below. I will also leave my link to Who's Afraid #1 up here. So thank you for watching this video. I am Maisie from Sippy Bite Studios, and I'll see you in the next one with a new video. Bye!